Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, if you haven't seen me here before, and I am an artist and I live and work here in Cumbria in the northwest of England in the UK, just to set the scene, in a very beautiful part of the countryside. And I welcome you each week to various parts of my house as to what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. That's what you get to see. And I'm so grateful to have you here with me. It's a wonderful journey of exploration that I'm on here, and the adventure just continues. It's been so exciting. When I think about when I started here, and I started in such a small way, and my confidence has grown, my knowledge has grown, my experience has grown as I've gone along the journey. And so many of you are still with me, 5 years on. It's fantastic. I'm so grateful for you. And if you're new here, thank you for finding me. I hope you might stick around and just see what goes on here. It's all about living creatively, and whatever that means to me, and whatever that might mean to you in terms of you interpreting what I'm saying here. I'm just sharing with you a bit of my life, really, and if that inspires you to go and do something or do something differently, that's just brilliant. So I'm all about creativity. I'm all about making things, doing things, but also sometimes creativity to me is just about sitting and allowing things to bubble up. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, honestly, since I spoke to you last time. And my last video was a very nice outdoorsy video which I put together for you, which I really enjoyed doing. If you haven't seen that, it's all about my vegetable patch and our new chickens that we got in July. But I have done a really big clear out since I spoke to you last. I was talking last time about how I'm not doing textiles anymore. I was a stitch artist, a textile artist, but that's all gone. So I took 12 really big bags of all my fabrics and my threads, my yarns, everything that I had that I was no longer going to be using, and that's gone to a fantastic art project down near Kendal, which is the South Lakes, very beautiful part of the countryside. We had a lovely trip down there on our way because we were going to London, actually following on from that. So we literally filled the car with all these black bin bags full of all my stuff and took it down to this place. It's a scrap store where they do fantastic community art things, and it was just wonderful because I emptied my car out into this space where they're going to do creative things with them, and it was just lovely. And such a beautiful journey down, because we went down the old road. If anybody knows, coming up through Cumbria, it's usually mostly people go on the M6, the big motorway, which is very beautiful, but the A6 road is a well-kept little secret. It's just, it meanders down through the lakes as it used to do, as it has done for over many, many years before the M6 was even thought of. So we had a lovely trip down, and then we headed down south to London. So I came home to that space that I had created, and I'm in the middle of a transition here. I'm creating more space for myself in my little art room. I'm changing things up in there, and I will show you, when it's done. I'm busy painting and renovating and making it better, because I had just kind of moved into it and left it as it was, lived with it, worked with it, but I was tripping over things in there, so something had to change. And I think one of the big things at the moment is I watched a YouTube video. How many of you watched the TED Talks? It was a fantastic young lady called Amie. I can't think what her surname is, but I'll leave a link below. She was doing a TED Talk all about the importance of creativity and what an antidote it is to everything that's kind of going on the planet at the moment. There's so much sort of awfulness going on, isn't there? And I know we're all aware of what's going on in very many places. And the trouble is, all you see on the news is the terrible stuff. You don't actually see what people are doing in their daily lives to make things better. And there are lots of things which are falling apart. There's dreadful things happening. But to me, being creative, as this young lady was saying, and it's something I've thought for a long time, that being creative is kind of an antidote to an awful lot of things, because when you're doing anything, whether you're making a meal, whether you're creating a garden, whether you're sewing something, painting something, it doesn't have to be art. You could be creating something online, you could be writing a letter to somebody. It's that creative process that brings us into the moment of being right where we are in that moment. And then I think you get this flow, don't you? People talk about being in the zone, time passes, and you're not thinking about anything particularly except what you're doing. And in fact, this is why I love doing art, because art does that for me. Art, in the past it was stitching, now it's very much about drawing and painting. And I'm loving this idea that creativity is an antidote to everything. So it means that whatever you're doing, as long as you're kind of doing it mindfully and you're not in a place of stress with it, whether you're making a meal, if you can find a way that takes you out of stress while you might be under pressure, you might be feeling an urgency of time, but to stop, to pause, to breathe, to feel into that moment, and actually then that counteracts stress. It reduces stress, it relaxes us all. Same as doing something outside, whether it's, as I say, gardening, it could be going for a walk. That can be a creative activity as well, because you can be letting your mind run free, you can be looking at the leaves, you can be, looking at nature when you're out there. And that's, to me, all part of this creativity that we've been blessed with. And so often over time, we've thought, oh, we shouldn't be doing that, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to be creative. So many people say to me, oh, I haven't got time to do that. And I said, well, sit down for 5 minutes, see what happens. Have a pen and paper handy and just do some doodling. Whatever it is that floats your boat, do it. Don't hold back. So one of the things I was going to show you is this beautiful book that I borrowed from my friends at my tea and textiles group. Not my actual textile group, because I've actually had to leave that. So this is a book called Resilient Stitch by Claire Wellesley Smith, and I'm sure some of you might have this in your collection at home. I love her slow stitch book, and I was just going to have a little chat and show you what interested me in this book shortly. But I really just wanted to talk about the importance of creativity in building resilience, and this book is very much about that. The idea that we can come together as communities, particularly whether it's a community online like this one, where we sort of share things. I share things with you, and some of you share things back to me within the comment section. I know it's not person to person, but it's kind of the next best thing, isn't it? And how building resilience, coming together as in little groups, in friendship groups, whatever we're doing that's peaceful. There's a lady called Pam Gregory, I don't know if any of you know her. She's an astrologer who I follow, kind of. I always enjoy listening to her YouTube channel productions, and it's not that I follow it avidly, but I'm interested in how the astrology can be predicting things that then might show up in a particular way in the world. But she runs she doesn't run it, but she started on a Sunday night doing a thing where at 7 o'clock she invited people to sit down for 10 minutes or so and just focus on something peaceful, some peaceful thinking, some peaceful thoughts, something beautiful in front of them perhaps, or just sitting and meditating quietly for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I think she now invites people to do that kind of every day. So at 7 o'clock every night, anybody here around the world can just sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It could be that you do something creative while you're doing it. I think the important thing was the idea that people come together in a state of peacefulness that then can spread out into the world. And when those moments come that you think, I'm not doing anything to help the situations that I see around me, the difficult things that are going on, and let's face it, some of us will be actually in those difficult situations, whatever it is, whatever level of difficulty that can be, something small and simple like looking after somebody who's old or sick, or just raising children. That's quite challenging, isn't it? It's about taking just that 5 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes for yourself, so you can just sit with yourself and be peaceful with yourself, and just take that step out, have a cup of tea, go and breathe the air outside. I often do that myself. So really, I just wanted to talk today about creativity. It's been such a crazy couple of weeks, as I say. I am very much creating new things in my life, as I've mentioned on various of my recent broadcasts here. And there's more coming. Every week there seems to be something new popping up for me, and it's quite exciting, it's quite scary, but I'm embracing it because I can feel the expansion of it. I can feel how it's taken me out into bigger, newer things. And it's growing stronger. It's making me feel stronger in myself and in what I can do, and what I can do in the world that makes the world perhaps a slightly better place than if I didn't do it, And as I say, it doesn't have to be anything complicated, but I think following your heart, doing your whatever it is that's creative, whether it's making soup, as I've just you know, I've just done for my lunch today. I took a squash that we've grown. As it happens, I took some garlic that we've grown and an onion that we've grown, which is very lovely to do. I can tell you, when you've grown your own veg, there's nothing quite like it. And that's all part of our simple creative living that we do here. And I made some delicious soup that I had for my lunch. And I really enjoyed that process of chopping the vegetables quietly and peacefully in my lovely kitchen and making some soup for myself. So I think that's it really. As I say, it's been pretty bonkers. I've been getting rid of a lot of stuff. That's quite an upheaval really. And I've got changes going on in the house again, and there's more to come, and it's all very exciting. So I hope that you've had a good week and a good fortnight, however many weeks you've been coming to see me here. It's really lovely to have you here. If you're interested at all in my creative videos, they're over on my Substack, and you can sign up for free, and you get a monthly little sort of newsletter thing that I send out about connecting with nature and some of what we do here to, you know, our little funny small holding that we have here. But also, if you become a paid subscriber, you get my creative videos where I'm showing all sorts of fun things, drawing, painting, sticking, gluing, whatever it is I'm doing. And I'm sharing my journey with you there as well as I do here. So thank you so much. If you watch this through to the end, congratulations. I'm going to show you this little book now, and that's going to be it really for today, and I'll see you again next week and we'll see what's happening. I might be able to show you what's going on in my art room by then, I don't know. Depends how I get on with the painting, you know. And I might actually have my proper big camera back by then as well, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So today I thought I'd just show you this book. I don't know how many of you have got this book yourselves. And I know that I'm not doing textiles anymore, but it doesn't matter. I'm still fascinated and interested in textiles as a form of art. I think it's really an important form of art because it's a very approachable form of art and anybody can do it. You don't need a lot of technical equipment. You don't even need a sewing machine, as this book shows you. You can just use a needle and thread, and I love that. And it's all about, I love this title, Resilient Stitch and Well-being and Connection. Well-being and creativity, it goes hand in hand, don't you think? So I was just going to, those of you who haven't got this book, it's a most beautiful, luscious book. This is where I came in, I think, from quilting, was hand stitching, you know, that lovely textured surface that you create when you use a needle and thread and create that sort of lovely surface. So it's got all sorts of beautiful, delicious images in, and I love the way she uses old fabrics and puts them together in such a beautiful way. But she's also about community. She's about using scraps. She's very much about the environment, whether that means saving the environment or working within a particular environment and using cloth from that environment. So it's a beautiful book, and it's got some lovely work by other artists in. It's about colour, it's about dyeing, but the thing that really attracted me particularly was the stories in it. So it's two things in this book, especially that I was attracted to, was the story of the women in Bradford who were resisting and marching for peace during the First World War, and how resourceful and resilient they were in terms of all the protesting that they did, and at the same time as they were working in munitions factories and weaving cloth for soldiers' uniforms, they were protesting for peace. And she's done this beautiful work that's taken from some of the environment, the streets that they did their marching on. She's found things, she's seen things, and she's created these beautiful, beautiful pieces to sort of record some of that. And she did this like 100 years on from the original peace movement. And then following on from that was this story about the handicrafts club that the women again set up to help the men who were coming back shell-shocked and in terrible mental states, and how important being creative was to their well-being again, that how it created well-being in them. You know, it calmed down their nervous systems because they were focusing on something to do with their hands. They were creating things. I don't know how many of them had done handwork like this before. I don't know. It's an interesting thing because these were men doing stitching and things. So it's quite an interesting sort of thing in terms of, you know, the gender things around that we have around stitching. So I just thought it was a beautiful book, and I just thought I'd share it with you a little bit. I just adore these pages. They're just sort of edible. There's so much texture and deliciousness in them. And as I say, it's a book I borrowed from friends, and I've loved reading it and dipping into it. It's not what I want to be doing, but I really appreciate it. And this idea that, again, creativity and well-being, they just go hand in hand. So that's all for this week. So I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into this beautiful book. If you haven't got it, I'm sure it's available in a library, or a friend might have it. I have to return this to my friends at my textile group. And I'm just delighted to have had your company here today, and I'll see you again next time, and we'll see what's going to be happening around here and what I can share with you. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. Bye for now.